Happy Thursday, the 8th, I think. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Um, gonna not split the screen. Um, well, hello. Hello, the week after the holiday has, yay.
It's good
Okay.
timing. Thank you for hosting us.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for being here. So I'm excited to talk. I'm excited, even though the subject matter is whatever it is. I'm excited to talk about it because I think the subject matter is triggered. What takes over when you don't feel safe? Hmm. Interesting. But before we do, because it's just a thing I like to do, I'd like for all of us to do a little meditation so we can all like come into the same space together, into this present moment. So close your eyes, straighten your spine, and begin to inhale through your nose and imagine this beautiful, amazing white light coming up through your spine, up, 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 up through the top of your head, and then circling down in front of you, creating a wheel of golden light. And that exhale takes that wheel out in front of you. And then you inhale and you imagine that white or golden light coming up through your spine, up through the top of your head. And then at the top, you exhale through your mouth or your nose, whatever is comfortable. And imagine that light coming down out in front of you, creating this beautiful wheel of light, of energy. And then inhale and exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And before you open your eyes, just take a moment to thank yourself for being here. And think of someone or something that you are also grateful for. Visualize that person, that pet, that thing, that energy, and smile and say thank you. And then ask yourself to be open and aware and conscious in this hour that we have together to share experiences, to feel, to be aware. And then slowly open your eyes. So, yeah, triggered. What takes over when you don't feel safe? Um, some of you have been here before because I see familiar faces, and some of you are new. Some of you have been coming for months, and I'm so grateful for you. Um, some of you are preparing for Rise to Remember, which is an incredible experience, and some of you have already experienced it. So I hope that when I do that meditation, for those of you that have done Rise to Remember, that you remember your little anchor, because it's often helpful when we're doing something together if you do that little anchor. But wherever you are on your journey, you're exactly where you need to be, and welcome. So yeah, today we're looking at what takes over when you don't feel safe, those reactions that you can't stand that you do because they've they've been protection, they've been survival for many years, probably many decades. And those reactions that you hate, that those protection patterns, they cost you your presence. They cost you you being here, present. And just to be clear, this is not therapy. This isn't a support group. This is where you clearly get to see what's been running you, like where you've gone missing. And what you can see, you can choose, and what you can't see owns you. So let's start. Let's start with something that most of us don't say out loud. You know, you react sometimes, and I'm not saying everybody does this, but probably we do. I mean, we all have reactions that we don't like, right? That we look at and we're just like, oh, again, why do I keep doing that? Maybe it's when, you know, your mother calls and even before you answer, your chest becomes tight and you hear yourself snap before at her, you know, you become dismissive, or maybe it's not your, maybe it's a child of yours who's not a child anymore or something, and and you can't stand the sound of your own voice. You can tell that I'm speaking of many things that I've done in my life, um, because that's the only place I can come from. But I know that feeling. That feeling is like, who am I? Who am I being right now? Right? Or your partner says something and it shuts you down, and the walls go up and you watch yourself do it and you can't stop it. Or you're, you know, at a family gathering, which we just had a lot of those, and you find yourself performing, right? You're smiling, you're accommodating, you're saying yes when your whole body is screaming for you to say no. And later you're furious at them, but you're really furious at yourself, right? You're furious at yourself that you don't stand up for your peace, right? And it doesn't have to be big things, right? And then comes the judgment inside your head. I should be better than this, right? I have done so much work. Like, why am I still reacting like this? And here's what's actually happening. Pressure doesn't cause your reaction. It reveals where your system learned to protect you. That's all, right? Your body has a blueprint and it's built over years. Every time you weren't safe emotionally, physically, relationally, your nervous system took notes. It literally like took a bunch of notes and said, oh, that happens again, I'm going to do this. And when this happens, you know, they don't actually protect you anymore. They probably protected you when you were 17 or 7 or 23 or something, but they don't protect you anymore. So because your body will remember all these things. And all of this to say that, you know, your reactions are the reactions that we don't like in ourselves. It doesn't mean that we're broken. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do, protect you, right? You set it up that way. And the problem is this, the protection that kept you safe then is costing you your presence now. And here's what happens if the cost continues. You stay at war with yourself. You're constantly like battling. You perform calm while you're not feeling calm inside. You feel like you're drowning inside. You live at the mercy of whoever or whatever triggers you next. You become smaller and smaller, trying to control bigger and bigger reactions. And that's what we're here today to look at. Not to fix it, just and not to add another strategy to pile on top, another thing for us to do to protect you. We're just here to see it clearly, because when you can see, just like I said before, then you can choose. And what you can't see owns you. So let's see it. But obviously I've talked too much. I want to hear from you. And what does it look like in your life? What does that When pressure reveals a protection, what takes over in you? Oh, raise those hands. Come on. Come on, come on. I know there's somebody out there. Who's raising it? Pam, are you raising your hand? Thank you.
Hi.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad you touched on this. I was hoping that you would eventually. You know, the triggers is just the hard thing. What it is it just becomes such a habit, and it's like you're doing it before it happens in such a split second that it's like, how do you learn to stop that split second? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just an instant habit. And it does take over. And it's like, then you project it onto everything else.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to break. I mean, it's just like an addiction habit.
Yeah. So are you able to see like what the pattern is underneath it?
After the fact, I'm learning. Yeah, I'm learning because I'm working hugely on it. So now I can definitely see what triggered me, where before, years ago, I didn't even know what a trigger was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm learning it, but it's still a huge learning curve because, well, like any addiction or any habit, it's just very hard to stop. It's like that
Absolutely.
ball you throw and you want it to stop midway.
Right. Right. Well, I think are you able to acknowledge it? Are you able to see like where it comes from?
Yeah, abandonment. Abandonment for me, that's where it comes
Right.
from.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm not wanted or I'm being left out or yeah.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At least there's some awareness there. You're getting clearer on the picture that comes up, right?
Oh yeah, hugely. It's just that instant though, that's like, it's like, well, today's my birthday. And yesterday I went out with my
Happy
brother.
birthday, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I went out with my brother and then like something triggered me about us meeting and he doesn't really communicate that well. And so I got triggered and it's like, oh my gosh, why did you do that? It's like, I just want to slap myself.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, that's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Those reactions you hate, they come up and
Yeah,
they cost you your presence.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like they they can ruin the moment.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, I'm wondering, it's like I'm not big on writing, but I'm wondering if maybe I should just start really making myself to a journal. Like whenever it happens, write it down.
And ask yourself what it is that causes that trigger. Like where do you go immediately?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you feel it in your body?
Hmm. It's almost like a fear takes over. And it's hard to
Right.
it's hard to pinpoint fear in your
Can you
body.
feel it? Can you feel it though? Can you feel it somewhere? Does your chest
Yeah,
tighten? Do
yeah,
you,
yeah, it
right?
does. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does your voice kind of get small or
Yeah, because it's like I feel like I don't have a voice anymore.
yeah? Because
You
this
know?
really isn't about them. This is about you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
your nervous system signaling you. That was such a beautiful example of, you know, hating hating your own reactions. Like, God
yeah,
damn it. Just want to slap
I,
myself.
I know,
But I don't want
exactly.
you to slap yourself. I want you to be kind to yourself. But awareness is that key. It's like once you start to become aware, then we find the tools that can unravel that.
Exactly. But it's practice, practice, practice.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Thank you, Pam. It was
You're
beautiful.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else is going to share? Yes. Karina. Did I get that right? I should put glasses on.
Yes, hello.
Okay, good.
So I find that I tend to oscillate in my responses on two ends of the extreme. I either get snappy and defensive, or I
Yes.
shut down entirely and I isolate. And
Yep.
neither of those approaches I'm finding is productive for what I truly want,
Yep.
which is to be seen in my authenticity and in my good intentions. So right now I'm trying to learn the right communication skills to speak up when it's necessary or to take a moment and then maybe revisit the situation later.
Right. Right. What's a thing that comes up though? So you're thinking, oh, I want to have good reactions. What is it that happens to you? Like where in your nervous system do you feel it?
As you noted in the heart and in the chest area, typically. Um, And I also come from a lineage or a familial background of pretty fiery personalities. So, the volume tends to get raised and then people are shouting back and forth. But I find as much as you're shouting, how much are you actually defending the truth versus your own ego, So I'm trying to get clear on what that is um, while, sparing myself and others the opportunity, like sparing people, just the yelling because it's hurtful and not productive.
Right, right. And so you find yourself going into the habits of the whole family. That's kind of
Yeah.
it sounds like the family dynamic, right? And so you keep
Yeah.
walking into it and you can see it, only
Yeah.
you kind of don't want to be there.
Right. And then,
Doing it.
yeah, the shame begins to sink in of feeling like it's bringing out the worst in me, and I don't really want to lead with that.
Right, right. You want to lead with something that feels more like you.
Yeah. Something more
And
truthful and loving.
right. Yeah, so what is the story that prevents you from standing up and being yourself?
I'm finding a lot of it is based in inner work that needs to be done. My own insecurities and feelings of lack being projected into the scenario. Like, but wait, I'm not these things that you claim I am, and trying to defend myself in such a way, and instead of realizing that energy might better be used in preservation and just knowing my truth with a steadiness and not needing to shout or defend or proclaim anything, especially when you're not really aware of your audience. And quite
Right.
frankly, in the heat of the moment, sometimes people aren't receptive to what you have to say. So
Right,
I'm learning
right.
all of these tools right now.
Yeah, so when you disappear like that, when you feel as though you've gone invisible, where do you go?
Oh, when I isolate,
What are you protecting yourself from?
being misunderstood, feeling unseen, or feeling crammed into a narrative that I never asked to be a part of.
Right. So you just get smaller and smaller. Just
Yeah. I don't know why
Yeah.
that got me emotional thinking about it.
Yeah. That is emotional. That's your body just doesn't want to do it, but it doesn't know how to not do it,
Yeah.
right? At least right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awareness is the first step.
Mhm.
So this is really more about your own fears more than what they've said to you. This is,
My own perception of myself.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. And standing up for that.
Hmm.
And maybe not even knowing sometimes we don't even know who we are in that moment. We just know the reactions. We just know the old pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hard. That's hard. It costs you, you know, it costs you a sense of well-being, a sense of inner peace.
Yeah.
It's hard when it's hard when the others around you are not doing what you're doing, right? You're not becoming aware, right? So then you feel like you're battling that instead of just dealing with your own feelings, right? It's kind of like them versus me in a way.
Yeah. I'm also finding too, you can't really ask someone to give you something that they cannot give and that maybe you haven't truly given yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm seeking wisdom at this time.
I think you've got wisdom. I think that you just haven't found how to step into it. You'll
Thank you.
find it. You'll find it. It's
Thank you so
there.
much.
I can see it.
Thank
That
you
was
so much.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah. Iris, do you want to share?
It's actually Gina. I don't know why my daughter's name is on there.
Gina. Well, nice to see you again, Gina.
Good to be back. Thank you, Mario.
Yeah.
I've learned that my outbursts like that, my trigger, is like my armor and my sword together, and
Right.
it's keeping people out. They've maybe tripped something in me that they didn't mean to trip. Usually, I feel um, my sense of self-worth has been um, doubted, or my intelligence, or something that's very important to me, and that's my defense. And it's instantaneous. It's like my brain blurts it out before I even have a chance to react, to hold it in. And so I need to work on that, and I know I have to work on that. And thank God my husband has put up with it for 20 years. He knows to, that I will calm down in a few seconds. It's just, I that's my initial reaction sometimes. And so when I saw that this was the T circle topic, I went, oh man, like, how did you know?
What is the cost in your relationship, would you say?
Oh man, I think he's probably put up his own defenses because of it. And, we have, had counseling and stuff like that. And, but I think it's made him more leery of communicating with me, which makes things worse.
Right. So you're giving up your own sense of presence is also it's paying a price inside the relationship too. Yeah. And where do you think you need to be? Where do you think these putting up these defenses comes from?
Oh, so childhood, being, um, I don't want to get into a therapy session, but
No. But that
yeah,
well, in order to find out where you're missing, you need to know where it started,
yeah.
right?
I have one sibling. She's 12 years older than me, and I had a great therapist one time who told me, she said, "You don't have a sibling and a mother. You have two mothers, and they were both on polar opposites, and I'm trying to please them both. Trying to get validation from both of them, and it's both we're completely butting heads all the time. So there's me in the middle trying to make them both happy."
Right.
So I think I've carried that with me all through my life. And my
Right.
dad also was not an emotional person at all, except anger was the one emotion that he really could express. So I've been holding that.
Yeah.
And I have those blockages that I'm working on.
So when you're not calm like that, do you think it's your nervous system signaling something?
Yes, that those, I'm not a 50-year-old woman in Philadelphia anymore. I'm, 6 years old and trying to navigate all of the constellation of emotional trauma and repression and everything like that.
Right. So you can see how not present you are when you're having those reactions. It's like there it is. There's the cost. You're so not, you're 7 or wherever, right?
Mhm.
Interesting. Really great share. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. It's just an outdated version of you. We just need the upgrade. The 2026 upgrade. Cool. Nancy, how about you? Would you like to share? Thank you so much, Gina.
Okay.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah. Hi. Good to see
Hi.
you again.
Nice to see you.
I just want to thank these wise women because it's funny that I think it was Karina who said she didn't feel wise, but at the same time I was thinking, boy, she's wise for being so young. Really got it together. So, I've done a lot of work with my husband and I. We both, we do a lot of talking. We do a lot of if we both have a trigger, we try to sit down and talk it out and talk it through. But it's still that lack of understanding about not what the trigger is, because I pretty much know that it's either feeling lesser than, not that somebody's trying to treat me that way, but something they say, or me feeling like, oh no, I don't need help. I have this. I'd rather figure it out myself, kind of thing. On top of maybe being a younger sibling forever. I don't remember any specific situations where I was talked down to or anything, but maybe it's just part of always looking out for what other people think all the time and trying to be as good as your older sisters, or, follow them in the classroom, that kind of thing, where they go off and then you enter the high school they were in. Even if nobody says anything, their presence was there before you. And I think that when I'm in a situation where somebody has way more knowledge than me, but I still feel smart, I just might not feel ready to have the base of knowledge they have and use it. I get a little defensive internally, and I think I carry that, and then it's not so hard for that trigger to happen. And when that happens, I tell myself, you know, kind of like, don't be that way. Like, the internal voice is happening because I have done the work. But then I also sometimes get defensive that, why don't you understand by now? We've done this so many times. Why are we doing this again?
Right. Well, your nervous system isn't responding to what's happening now. It's responding to what happened then. Right?
Sometimes.
Because your body remembers. Because if you're thinking,
a lot of times I think it's the literal things that are being said. I'm a literal
you're breaking up a lot for me.
I'll say when he's telling somebody how to build something or make something. So when a type of wording that I think he's being literal. Got it on Bluetooth. Sorry, let me try this.
No, now it's I think you've gotten better. I think it's gotten better. Let me ask you something. Yeah, that's way better. What would change if you stopped judging the reaction, the old reaction, and started listening to what it's protecting you from?
Give me an example. I'm overthinking it, I think.
Well, so sometimes you get that reaction, you think, you feel it's like not a comfortable reaction, right? It's not a response, it's a reaction and it feels a little tight, right? As opposed to, oh, that was gentle and I expressed my community, because you at first said,
Yes, very.
sometimes it's
Yeah.
communication
Yeah.
that isn't happening properly or whatever. So if you, but then you have that one time where it feels a little tight. And then instead of judging that tight feeling, wonder where in your nervous system, where is that coming from? Like what story did that generate from?
Yeah, I feel like I constantly overthink, but think and picture and try to figure it out as I'm in the moment, which can be a little probably interfering with maybe reading the other person or,
Right.
I don't want to give up on myself. I don't want to give up on being heard or being understood. And also sometimes I know that the trigger later, I'll think about it and think, well, I was just frustrated because I didn't get anything accomplished today. And now that frustration is coming out because he came in and told me the 10 things he did. And then, and I feel like,
Right.
I know he's not judging me he doesn't know what I've done when he's gone, but I'm still sitting in the same chair 2 hours
Right.
later,
Right.
maybe reading their emails,
Yeah.
and thinking, gosh, I should have, it's self-judgment. And then maybe that is a trigger also. So, it's constantly spinning around all sorts of
But
things.
it's interesting how
um,
we go to the self-judgment. We just decide that we should, which is a terrible word.
mhm,
We should have done this. We should have done that, and
Right.
maybe it's just
Mhm.
about looking at, oh, who, I always ask myself, who am I being right now? Like, who
Mm.
is this
Hmm.
person? Because it's
Yeah.
like, because if you're having a disconnect with the reaction, then it's like, that's not me. But who am I in that space? I don't know.
Mhm.
It's something to observe, in
Yeah.
yourself, because
Yeah.
you're very, I know you've done masses of work. I can tell. Like us all, like all of us here. We've all done a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's about finding the ways to make it be more easeful for all of us.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Right.
beautiful. Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah.
Thank you
welcome.
for
Thank you.
sharing. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Thank you for all your shares, because they're always it's always just yeah, the perfect share for the day for what we're talking about. And do you hear it? Do you hear that thread of self-judgment, of little bit of shame, of how we should do this. I've learned so much. I should be doing that. Like I feel this way, but and yet I still fall into the pattern. So it's really about protection. We feel as though we have to protect ourselves. And that's why we go into fight or flight. It's why so many, we have so many issues as we get older with our cortisol levels, because we're not resting. We're not in relax mode. We're in fight or flight, and cortisol is running rampant through our bodies and our minds. And we're like, why am I doing this? It's so, and here's what's important to understand is that belief isn't wrong. At some point, it was true. At some point, protection was your survival. You needed it. Your nervous system learned, when this happens, I got to do this. And, when they show up, those days that cause us a lot of pain, we respond like this. And it worked. You survived. You're here. But you are no longer in those same situations as you were when you were a younger woman, or when you were a kid, or or whatever. None of what you had to protect yourself from then is really happening now, unless it actually is, but I doubt it. You know, oftentimes we have these massive reactions to things that aren't, you know, like, that's not what's happening. But we make it like in our heads, it becomes this huge dramatic thing. And you know, and that protection kept you safe, but it's keeping you small now. It's preventing you from like blossoming into who you actually are. Because you don't need to be small anymore. You don't need to apologize for who you are and anything that you've been through. There's no more of that. Because the more you know yourself, the less you need to apologize and show up in shame and small. So here's the thing, we can't access the woman that you actually are when you're being driven by protection. If that makes any sense. Give me a thumbs up if I'm making stuff. Okay, thank you. Sometimes I don't know. I just look at faces. And I can't see you really close because I don't wear glasses, but I probably should. I just want you to know this, that you can't be present when your system has already left, if that makes any sense. Our reactions, because reactions are, and you've left the building. You've left the whole situation. You're not in the present situation when you're running. You can't be authentic when you're performing safety. You can't be sovereign when you're at the mercy of whatever triggers you next. So, and I don't want you to think this is failure. It's just a pattern. And it's kind of like Pam said in the beginning, it's this, like, it's a habit. It's a habit that we need to break. It's like smoking or whatever you do that you know that you probably could give that up and it would be good for you. But it's hard to give up patterns because patterns become addictions. We become addicted to the pattern because it kept us safe, or it felt like safety, and we thought we were comfortable, but we're not really comfortable. And you get better at the performance as the years go by. We get better at doing it, and you get better at holding it together. You get better at looking regulated when you feel like you're drowning, but you don't get free. You never feel free. You never feel kind of at ease, like I can live my life. So there's a gap. And the gap between where you are right now and where you're trying to go, that gap is this. So you're at the mercy of your triggers. You're driven by ego protection. And I'm not trying to shame you about anything. Like, we all have egos and we do that. And we're reacting and we're regretting because we reacted instead of responded. We're performing and collapsing. We're just not feeling like on top of our own ability to respond in a situation. And on the other side of that, so there's the problem side, the icky side. On the other side of that is embodied safety. Your body knows safety as a felt state. You notice the trigger without becoming the trigger, without identifying with the trigger, without making your identity wrapped around however you respond to things or react to things. You become somebody who responds. You have immunity, not because nothing bothers you, but because you're no longer hijacked by this trigger. That's the other side. That's embodied safety. That's real safety. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, thank you. And you can't think your way across that gap, right? You can't will your way across it. You can't strategize your way across it, because this isn't a mindset problem. This is a nervous system recalibration. Our nervous systems start to run us, because that's what habits are. It's like our nervous system is, and that's why we're in fight or flight, because it's literally like you're on edge. And your nervous system doesn't respond to logic. You may have noticed that. It responds to truth, even though your husband will say it responds to logic. That was a joke. Because I get that a lot. Just be logical. I was like, yeah, but I'm not. And I don't respond to logic. Thank you very much. I'm emotional. I'm a woman. Thank you. Goodbye. So I want to show you now what's on the other side of that gap, of that trigger side. I want to show you what embodied safety looks like, not as a concept, not as something you understand intellectually, but as something that you actually feel. So let's say, that your mother calls, or somebody in your life that, does that thing to you. And this time your chest doesn't tighten. You hear her voice and there's no brace. There's no armor coming up, no sharpness waiting in your throat. You're just there. You're just listening. You're present. You're breathing. You're neutral, right? Not because you're controlling the reaction, not because you're managing your response, but because your body knows that I'm safe. I'm here, even with her or whomever that person is that does that thing to you. And you just stay in yourself, right? But there's a way to do that. Maybe your partner calls and you feel the impulse to shut down or respond in that old way. And instead you notice it and you see it moving through you. You become the observer. You become the witness, not the reaction. And you choose, not from control, but from the sovereignty to stay present. And we go back to the family gathering and you don't perform. You're not scanning the room for threats. Or, you're not calculating how to keep the peace. You're not disappearing into niceness, accommodating everybody. You're just you. It doesn't mean you show up a bitch. It just means you're like, okay, just, not doing if you don't need to do. If your body says no, you don't do it. You become relaxed in your own skin. You clear your own truth. You're present in your own body. You say no when you mean no. And it doesn't cost you connection. You say yes when you mean yes, and it doesn't cost you yourself. This is all possible. It's all possible. It's just a new way of being, and you have to be introduced to the person that's already in you. That's what embodied safety looks like. Because your body knows that safety is a felt state. You just feel, when you feel safe, you feel calm. You feel inner peace. Not because your environment is perfect, not because people don't trigger you. It's not because you become a transcended, awakened being on the planet. It just means that your nervous system has been recalibrated. The intel that used to drive you into protection now informs you without hijacking you, and you have immunity, not because nothing bothers you. You just notice a trigger. And you see the pattern, and you feel the sensation, and you choose consciously from your own sovereignty as the woman that you actually are. And here's the thing, I spent a lot of time kind of showing you that we don't always have to be in that place where things are uncomfortable or we're uncomfortable with our reactions. I just want you to see that there is a place where you all can live from a place of response and softness and a recalibrated nervous system. And it's just easy. And again, that doesn't mean there are no problems. It just means you become this amazing you that you actually already are. You've just got, there are so many, excuse me, fucking habits that we have that are layered on top of layered on top of later on. And we're like, I'm just a ton of different reactions. But that's not who you are. The you that wants to be at ease with the family that yells too much or whatever, she's there. You just haven't let her out to play very often because you had to survive, and you did have to survive. So we never want to find fault with the survivor version of ourselves, because damn, we got there because of it. So how do we get there? A shift has to happen inside of ourselves. We have to come to a place where we make a different choice, right? So of course you think you should be able to control your reactions because you're an accomplished woman. You've built a life, a career, you have relationships, you've overcome so many challenges, you've succeeded at really hard things. So why shouldn't you be able to control this? And of course, you still kind of believe you have to protect yourself, right? So you have to get away from believing that that's the mindset that you're going to run from. So, so how do we get there, right? You're like, okay, you've talked a lot, Mary Ellen. I feel like I've talked too much. But I did that so that you can see that everybody has the ability. And that's, so the way that I know how to do it is to introduce you to the person that you already are. The person that is beneath the roles, the person that's beneath all the triggers and the reactions and the whatevers, who doesn't run to her safety mechanisms that are actually not working and don't make you feel comfortable. So that's why at the beginning today, I think you saw that there was that circle, and the T circle is where we get to see where we are. It's kind of like, okay, I'm viewing my issues, my stuff. And then you go, and then we talk about it, and then we realize, oh, there's an issue here. I'm not being calm in my response to anything. There's just so many habits that I've got. So that's why I want to invite you to do Rise to Remember. I want you to invite you to do a thing that really is a beautiful transformation for everybody. Everybody that's done it, just they love it. And there are some people here that I think have done it. And it really is beautiful because you get to see the person that you already are. She's there, she's inside each and every one of you. She's calm. She doesn't react to everything. She's not in fight or flight. And she's ready to, like, I call it rise to remember because she's already there. She's already inside you. So anyway, I'm inviting you to do a rise to remember. It's not this Saturday, it's the following one. Whatever that is. Today is 9th, 10th, the 18th. And it's a beautiful process, and we've now combined. We have 4 assessments that we do, and if you sign up for it, I send you that, and you go through these things, and I go through it with you. I've done a lot of videos for it, so I'm right there with you. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to see where you are inside yourself. And she's so powerful and so beautiful. And each and every woman that does it, it's just like, it's awe-inspiring for me to look at the faces that as they realize, oh gosh, I'm really great inside here. Right? So anyway, there are ways to eliminate this process of total reaction and being, wanting to explode and then feeling ashamed about it. There are ways of getting past it. There are ways of getting past it, and it lies within you. I'm not your guru. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to be. I'm just wanting to give you what I know has worked for me and for a lot of other women. And then when we come into the T circle, and if we've all done it together, then it's like, I can say some things that are going to be like, oh, you're going to get, okay, yes, I recognize that pattern, but I know how to get you back to the you inside of you that is confident, that is not going to react, that is not of this old mindset that is 7 years old or 17 who had to survive. Because the you inside of you, especially at our ages, and there's a collective bunch of ages here. I'm not saying that all of us are, the same age, because we're not, but we've all had collective experiences that have created where we are today. But we can all shift into a place where we can be present every day. And that's what's important. It's important to be present. It sounds so silly. It sounds so like, I don't know. It sounds like, some weird thing, but it's not. So, the Rise to Remember is a really beautiful experience. It's 3 hours long, but you get 4 assessments prior now that you get to do. You go through the Queen's Doctrine. It's really cool. It gives you stuff that actually just activates you. I'm not giving you more. I'm reminding you of what you already have. Because I don't want to give you more. See, Nancy says RTR is worthy. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you. Anyone who's been there really knows. I really want to see you all do it. I'm not saying that, you can't come to T-Circle if you don't, because you can. Absolutely. And I love seeing you. I just want you to realize that there are ways of getting out of these repetitive conversations so that we can move forward to, like, let's get deep into a new conversation. And every subject matter that I bring up, they happen because they happen to me, right? They happen to me, and just because I have tools to help me stay present during it, they still happen to me. So I bring those subject matters up. I just want all of us to be able to have the tool to go, you know what? I don't react like I used to. Isn't that awesome? So, any of you who've done the Rise to Remember, we have remodeled it a little bit. I think it's kind of cool. I had it last time we did it last Saturday, and it was a bunch of women that had done it months and months ago, and they had a really good time. It was really awesome. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Lori says she's excited. Thank you, Lori. I talked a lot today. That felt weird. But anyway, please, somebody share something, because I just feel like I've been yapping.
I have
Okay.
something.
Okay, go ahead. And then
Me?
Bonnie, I'll let you share too. Okay.
Me?
Yeah, you go, because you're
okay.
already talking. I love
Okay.
it.
Hi.
Hi.
So this last year, I think I shared before, I was really, really, really sick. And I just didn't have it took me a while to realize that I didn't have the energy to be triggered or to react to the trigger. And I've been there with, like, in the past, those moments, like she was saying, where you want to slap yourself in the face. Happy birthday, by the way. And then you're like, oh, I'm not proud of that. And how do I fix it? And it can ruin the moment, And so this time I was like, this is my health. It's my energy. And I thought, and I listened to a lot of different people for direction and kind of just puzzled it together. But it was complicated, but I just ended up, everyone said, you can do the walk away and you can be quiet. But I chose to just pause, do the walk away, lead by example, as far as I'm just going to let it go, give it a little space, come back into the room. The person is going to be expecting a reaction. No, I don't react. I just go about. And at first I thought, is that silencing my voice? No, it's a miracle. It's like everything just went on. And then it was like noted to the person, like, huh. And my example of how I dealt with it started wearing off on the person. Lead by
Nice.
example.
I love that.
Hey, when you're in a fight or
Cool.
a flight, you're gonna die supposedly thing. You're just like, what can we do?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate
Sharon.
you.
Awesome. Bonnie, because I said I would, Bonnie, please. Is that Bonnie or is it Ronnie? It's Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Thank
Bonnie.
you. Good
Hi
Lord.
there.
Thank you.
So you're at the top of your hour, so I'll try to keep it short and make a brief comment. But I have a lot in me, and I'm in a little bit maybe different place. Like, I'm very grateful for the topic today. I actually just left a relationship because I kept being reminded of my trigger when all I was, as a trigger, that all I felt like I was doing was trying to use my voice, because my voice was silenced when I was a kid. So here I am feeling strength and wanting to be heard and giving my voice and giving my heart about how I feel. And I kept being repeatedly interrupted or misrepresented to what I was saying for months and months. And I just wore out, and my reaction was to raise my voice because I couldn't get my boundary acknowledged. Like, could we breathe? Could we take a time out? Talk, 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 talk. Then I start to feel disrespected, undervalued, because I couldn't get my, it was kind of linked to the trigger because I didn't feel like I could be heard by particular men in my life.
Right.
This is a person I care about, and it wasn't always like that. He was going through some of his own stuff, with some medical issues that he's a little bit in denial, I think, about. So it was all me trying to, when does it become a appropriate reaction to speaking your truth to being triggered? That's
Yeah.
the question. That's a question you're leaving me with today, because you said something about, the person you're in relationship with doesn't have sort of the same philosophy or awareness about triggers, and it's all about me, I'm being pointed at, then I do get a little frustrated. And it's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
hear
be
ya.
that person that's like, because I don't want to just not say anything and just walk out of the room and pretend that this thing didn't happen.
Right? Yeah. No, I hear you. And sometimes and sometimes we have to let go of things that are not serving us.
Well,
you
this is
know?
what I said. I said, I don't want to keep going back to old arguments. We've talked about it a lot. And so even that's
Yeah.
about it. And that doesn't get respected and it feels destructive to my
Yeah.
nervous system. I gave
Yeah.
up. I gave up. I hate to say I gave up, but sometimes you have to give up.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
So,
No, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
yeah, thanks for the
Thank you,
voice.
Bonnie.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No, I heard you. I heard
Thank
you.
you.
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna
seen and
interrupt you.
heard.
Hey, everyone. I love you all very, very much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Or, maybe I'll see you on Rise to Remember. I know that Eric sent it through to everyone. And happy birthday, Pam. Love to you.
Birthday, Pam.
Birthday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love to you all. Good energy for everybody.